And I'm going to start talking. So happy Tuesday, everyone. This is a meeting all about macros. It's going to be about 30 minutes. I may repeat myself, I may not repeat myself, I'm not sure. But I do make notes so that I don't go off on tangents because I have a lot to say. First thing I want to say is I say this every meeting. I don't have a filter. And sometimes different coaching styles don't work for everyone. So if you find by next Friday that my coaching style is not for you, just let me know and I will refund your money. Not this Friday, next Friday. You have a whole week of real tracking next week. So this week is all about learning, practicing, getting your head in the game, and trying not to be overwhelmed by Monday. Because Mondays, when the real deal starts, we go straight through to September 3rd and I add you in with everybody else. So remember, you are not on a diet. There's nothing that will be restricted from you. So if you want to drink, or if you want to eat a slice of pizza, or you want to have that cheeseburger or that French fries, whatever it is, as long as you account for it and you track it in your app, you can have it as long as you budget for it. So I always tell everybody, first thing you want to do is you want to know what your carbs, your proteins, your fats are, right? So you have to have proteins in your diet. I know I give you the Shred Tribe guide, but I'm going to go over it briefly. Proteins you have to have in your diet. That helps with your appetite. It helps with your muscles, your skin, your cellular growth. Everything your body centers around is your proteins. And you have to have proteins. And it's usually at least a pound to a pound and a half grams of what you weigh. So if you weigh 150 pounds, you're for sure getting 150 grams of protein. Just keep that in mind. And then you have your carbs. And so many people are like, oh, I'm on a carb-free diet and I'm on a keto and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. Your body has to have carbs. Carbs helps you with your energy. It helps you function as a normal human being. When you get on a keto diet or any of those diets, you start to forget things. You start to drop things more often. That's because you're not supporting your system that you need to support. And then you also hear people say, oh, I'm on a no-fat diet. Well, when you want a no-fat diet, you're messing up your metabolism and you're messing up your thyroid, because fat is what basically drives your interior cells, your skin, your hair, your nails. You have to have that to survive. So all those together make up your macronutrients. And when I give you your numbers, which everybody has now, there may be one or two people that came in today that don't have their macros, but they'll have them by tomorrow. You guys all have your report. So if you think you don't have it, I sent it to your email, personal email, and it's also in your app. And it's under the fork and knife under your dashboard at the bottom. And you should be able to scroll up and see it all. Those are all customized individually for each and every one of you. If you have a friend in here, your reports are not the same. And basically it's going to tell you, if you're not using a scale, how many fifths of protein you need to have, how many handfuls of carbs you need to have, how you can break it up by how many meals a day you told me. That 17-page report looks like it's not a lot of information, but it is. And it is a great tool to use. It gives you different meals you can put together to hit your macros. So definitely use that. I believe knowledge is power. And I don't give you a lot of information to overwhelm you. I give it to you to give you power, to give you control over your daily food intake. So someone messaged me and she said, oh, I'm so overwhelmed. You just added me to all these groups. Well, I'm not telling you to get in the group and comment on everything. All I want you to do is scroll through it and see what's available to you, because there's so much information in these groups that you don't need to Google or do anything else. I've done it for you. Everything that's in these groups, you're going to use. Those sample meal plans you guys are seeing now, the cheat sheets you guys are seeing now, the shopping list, the different recipes, all those things. You can opt out of groups if you're not interested in cooking. Someone said, oh, can you give me grab food to go ideas? If you haven't watched the food video, it's super important, because I did basically pull out my food from my house and show you how I don't cook and how I grab and go on a daily basis. And I leave my house at 4 o'clock in the morning and I just literally walked in the door, and this is an early night for me. And I eat over 2,000 calories a day. So can you imagine what my macros are? I have no problem with proteins, protein bars or protein shakes. So what I want you guys to do is think about your household budget for the month. let's say you make $5,000 a month, and you have to pay your mortgage, and you have to pay your car payment, and whatever your main bills are, right? So you take that all out of your monthly budget. Whatever's left, you guys can get your nails done, your hair done, your kids' sports, that kind of thing. That's how I want you to think about your daily food budget. It is a budget that you need to use. It is a budget that you can only use. You can't go over it. So if I gave you a budget of, 1,800 calories, and you have to eat 150 proteins and 200 carbs and 50 fats, that's what you need to eat. You can come 10 over or 10 under your proteins and your carbs, and your fats 4 to 7. And it sounds like it's a lot, and it's a lot of work, but it is. The first 2 weeks of tracking macros takes time. It takes work. Nothing you do that's going to last is going to come easy. So if your head is in the game and you are willing to do this, it's going to work for you. I promise you, tomorrow night when you guys get in the meeting with everybody else, and I put you with all 140 other people, whoever comes on from the current clients, and I ask them to raise their hand and say, how many people were overwhelmed week 1? And everybody's going to raise their hand. Then I'm going to say, how many of you think in macros now? And everybody's going to raise their hand, because it becomes second nature. It becomes nothing that you have to think about, really work for, unless something totally changes in your life. And this week, like the next 3 days, is your planning week. You're going to make fake logs and think about what you eat on a daily basis, your normal foods. And you're going to start filling them in to your app and start tracking all that food and see what it looks like for you, and see what you're short or what you're over. Because chances are you think you're eating enough, but you're not. We all tend to eat 4 ounces of protein at our meals. That will never get you to your numbers. You need to get between 6 to 8 ounces of protein at every main meal in order to hit your numbers. And it talks about that in my 17-page report that I give you as well. So I get it. You're probably going to think I'm giving you way too much food, but the more you eat, the more you lose, as long as you are eating correctly. So someone said to me, so that means the more I eat, the more I lose. I can eat 3 slices of pizza. Well, chances are you're probably not going to have that much macros to be able to do that with your carbs by the time it's pizza time. But if that's something you want to do, put it in your log first thing in the morning. This way, by the time it comes to eat it, you've already accounted for it. Same thing with alcohol. I know I'm going out this weekend. I'm going to track my alcohol first thing in the morning, because I know I'm going to want two vodka sodas or whatever it is. And I'm going to account for it. And we're going to talk about alcohol before we end this. But alcohol is calculated a little differently than just picking out the food in your app and like tracking it. You have to actually make your own entry, create an entry in your app. Please don't feel like you have to deprive yourself while you're working through your budgeting. If there's something that you like to eat and you want to eat it, put it in there. See how it fits in your day. There are people that have pieces of Dove chocolate. There are people that do all different things, and it fits in their day. You are definitely going to feel overwhelmed, but that's why I want you to reach out to me. I want you guys to start looking at macros for everything. A banana has anywhere between 25 to 50 carbs for one banana. So if you're a person that eats a protein shake, drinks a protein shake in the morning, and they put a banana in it and peanut butter in it and fruit in it, you've pretty much knocked out probably the majority of your carbs for the day. Don't do that. Because by the time it comes to dinner time, you're going to say to me, what am I going to do for dinner? And I'm going to say, it looks like you're eating chicken by itself. You don't want that to happen. You want to be able to eat with everybody else. You want to be able to eat what you want to eat, right? You can't just wing it and say, oh, well, I'm going to fill it all in at the end of the day after I eat. It doesn't work. You have to log as you go or ahead of time. Because if you log after, you'll have no idea if that would have fit your numbers or not. And that's where you start going over your numbers. That's where you start falling into that trap of, oh no, Shannon, what do I do? I went over 28 fats. I'm like, what do you mean? What are you going to do? You went over. I can't take them out. I can't get them back for you. Why did you eat that before you logged it? Because you probably could have had half of it and it wouldn't have been so bad. So you need to start thinking of that. Unfortunately, we, on a daily basis, we don't do that. We just eat, we go, we run, we grab, we just don't put a thought process into what we're doing. The kids want Wendy's. So we go to Wendy's and we're like, oh, I'm going to get their grilled chicken sandwich. It's probably not that bad. You don't realize the amount of fat and carbs that are in that kind of fast food. But we think it's good for us. Or salads. Someone said to me the other day, oh, I'm just going to order the salad. And I was like, why don't you figure out what that salad is first? She could have had a cheeseburger and sweet potato fries versus the salad she was going to pick. But she thought because it was a salad, it would have been better for her. But there was walnuts in it, and there was feta cheese in it, and there was other things in it that bumped up all of her fats. So I steered her away from it, and she had something else. She had she had a cheeseburger and like 8 sweet potato fries or something like that. So definitely start thinking on a different level. What you're doing now is not working. So open up your box in your mind and think, people say always, what would Shannon do? But what would I say if you were to pull out 3 Pop-Tarts? Like, really, can you eat that? Do you know if you can eat that? Maybe you can have 1, or maybe you want maybe you want Oreos and you're the type of person that can stop after 1 or 2. I'm not that person. I can't even have them in my house, which are other meetings. But if you're that person, track it first and then eat it. It will take you easily a good week and a week and a half to get this down pat. Please do not get frustrated. Every day for till next week, if not more, I'm going to be posting at 1:00 in the afternoon. Please message me if you are ready for me to review your macros for the day. If you message me and say you're ready and I go into your app and there's 3 things that you ate, I'm going to say you're not ready because I need to be able to see what's in there to give you ideas of how to fix it. So log in as much as you can by, let's say 2 or 3 o'clock. Actually, I think I do 3 o'clock. Log in as much as you can by 3 o'clock. Think about what you're going to eat for dinner, possibly, and put it in there. You could always change it. This way, when I look at it, I could say, well, you know what? You probably need to eat this or change this, or tomorrow when you do this, do it this way. After the first week, it'll thin out. Not everybody will have me look at it, but I will keep looking and I will keep asking. There are at least 20% that have been in my program for a long time that I still look at it on a daily basis. It makes them feel more accountable. It makes them feel like they're doing the right thing. And I have no problem doing that. But don't message me and say, okay, I put my breakfast in. Can you look and tell me what to eat for lunch and dinner? Because first of all, I have no idea what's in your house to even suggest that. And when you watch the food video, I'm going to tell you things to have in the house, the tuna pouches and all those things. Because if you do message me at 6 or 7 o'clock at night and tell me that you're missing protein, what can you have? I'm going to suggest Quest chips or a tuna pouch, or something that I've mentioned in those videos. If you're missing carbs, low-fat graham crackers, whatever the case is, rice cakes, yasso bar, anything. And if you have them, you'll be able to eat it. If you don't have it, my suggestions aren't going to really help you. So the food log review is super, super, super important. And I will do that for the first pretty much 2 weeks. Raw versus cooked food. When you are logging in your app, you can see it. It'll say raw chicken, cooked chicken. Make sure you're choosing the right thing. When you're weighing it, you need to weigh your meat raw, not cooked. Everybody got that? Raw, not cooked. When you are doing your macros, you have to sit down and eat your meal or stay in one place and eat your meal. You can't graze unless you've already accounted for it and you're taking your time eating it because it's a lot of food, which I talk about my big bowl of food and I put all my 8 ounces of chicken in it and my full bag of broccoli in it. And it usually takes me about 45 minutes to an hour to eat it. That's something that I can graze because I've already accounted for it. But otherwise, you want to make sure you're making your meals, you're sitting down, you're eating them. You want to make sure that you're getting hungry, you're getting satisfied. Think about one meal every day that you can eat that you can manipulate either the food or the numbers, because that'll be the easiest thing for you to do when you're logging. Distributing your macros evenly will really help you. You don't want to bulk up all your macros, breakfast and lunch, and then what are you going to do for dinner? So if you have 150 carbs, maybe split them up instead of 50, 50, 50, because you want to save stuff for snacks, maybe 30, 30, 30, and then you leave yourself some space for other things, or 40, 40, 40, or whatever it is that you want to do. But start figuring it out and start putting it down on paper and then putting it in your app, or just put it in your app so you can see the numbers, and I will help you hit your numbers. I'm not a big cook person, but if you're doing big recipes, crock pot recipes, any of those, you can build your recipe and then just break out the serving size when you're ready to eat it. Make it as easy as possible for you when you're doing this. Someone asked me if they need a scale. Scale will be more accurate. Yes, I don't require it because you're not going to live your life with a scale. In the 17-page report that I give you, you can see how you can use your hand and your fingers and all those things. Those help. And also buying things that are already measured. So scanning things, everything usually has a barcode. Scan it. It makes it so much easier. Don't even look for the label. Don't even look for what it is. Just scan it right off the bat. And then put the serving size or the portion that you're having of it. It'll make your life so much easier. I talked about a lot of other things in the food video, which I want you guys to watch. I'm not going to tell you what's in it because I want you guys to watch it. Wherever you go during the day, whether it be work, home, the gym, think about things that are around you that you know are easy to eat, grab to go, and start looking at them and going on the internet, looking up that restaurant and seeing what those caloric values are, what the macros are. It'll surprise you how much fat is in things and how less protein there in things. But find like 2 or 3 places that are near you that you're always around, because if you need to grab and go, you're going to need to know what's available to you. When you guys are doing fruits and vegetables, there's a cheat sheet that talks about this, but the only fruit that is really good for you, to be totally honest with you, are berries. Melons, pineapples, those are full of sugar. Sugar is carbs. If you account for it, it's great. You can have it. But if you don't account for it, you got to think about what you're doing. I had someone say that they eat a whole cantaloupe every day. That's a lot of sugar. That's a lot of carbs. You don't want to do that. And she said, well, I cut it up and I eat it throughout the day when I'm sitting at my office or whatever. And I was like, it doesn't matter. That's still the amount of food you're eating. It doesn't matter when you're eating it. It's just, you got to remember what you're eating and what the value is. A really good thing to think about is starting your day with egg whites. Egg whites has a lot of protein. And you can blog that. Like, you don't have to do a whole egg. So what I do is 3 egg whites and 1 whole egg. So I get 4 eggs, lots of protein, and then a little bit of fat. Half an English muffin, oatmeal. Start thinking about things versus I'm just going to grab a protein shake and walk out the door. Because if you do that, you're never going to hit your numbers. I don't have a problem with like frozen meals and Ideal Nutrition and all those delivery things. Those are fine. And you can usually scan them and they'll pop up. And they'll, tell you what their macros values are. And if those help you hit your numbers, or if you don't cook and you're always traveling, that's fine. Salt, someone asked me about salt. So unless you are on a water pill or have hypertension or anything like that, salt is fine. because you're supposed to be drinking half your body weight in water in ounces, which will deplete that sodium anyway, and we sweat. So salt should not be off limits. I have no problem with you guys eating salt. I don't know why Angelique's smiling, because I could see Brian talking to her. They're on their own Zooms, but they're in the same house. And I can see you guys talking to each other. So I don't know what you're laughing at, but okay. So this is really important. Alcohol. So like the number one question I get all the time. Alcohol does not have protein. Don't let anybody tell you it does. Don't let any marketing scams make you think they're good for you. Alcohol is either carbs, fats, or both. And the way you're going to calculate it is, if you have a glass of wine and it is 70 calories, you're going to divide it by 7, which is 10. And you're going to decide, am I going to use it as 10 carbs, 10 fats, or am I going to split it 7 and 3 or 5 and 5, however you want to split it. But you got to choose, and that's how you calculate it. It is 7 calories. Everybody got that? You decide, is it carbs or fats? There's no other calculation. There's nothing else for you to think about. You just have to log it as create a meal or create a food in the app, name it Gina's Vodka Tonic, whatever you want to call it. And then you know it's always there and you can always pull it up. Someone asked me about like red meat and all that stuff. I don't, or organic. You can eat organic if you want. I have my own thought process on organic. I don't do it. But if you want to, you're more than welcome to. It's not going to change your macros. Something that's organic is not less fattening than something that's organic. It's the same thing. Be prepared. Start bagging stuff. Think about what you're eating. Like prepare your food. So if you have to grab and go, you can. I talk about in the food video, you know, your Cheerios and was counting 50 Cheerios out and putting them in baggies and grabbing them and going because I knew I already logged it. I know what it counts for all the time and I can grab it and go. There's so many tricks and tips that I give you guys that you're going to be amazed if you watch that food video. I have no problem with dairy. People ask me that all the time. There's nothing wrong with dairy unless your body is not tolerant of dairy. You know, if you're whatever it's called, lactose intolerant, then no, you can't have dairy. But I mean, I have a yogurt and I have a cottage cheese every single day, every day. I eat the same thing every day of my life, pretty much every day. I mean, literally every day, the same thing. If you find yourself hungry, which will not happen for right away, start thinking about your fiber-full foods. And I didn't want to overwhelm you, but I actually put a list together for you guys of fiber-filled carbs. So it'll fill your stomach up, but you really are not getting a ton of carbs. But you won't be hungry. So if you start to feel like you're hungry, these will help you. To have in your house would be great is like Ezekiel bread, because that is a great carb, just putting it out there. It's high in fiber and it's complex, so your body breaks it down fast versus all the other like 100-calorie breads and this kind of bread and that kind of bread. And for some reason, Ezekiel bread, because it's high in fiber, it fills you up. So you don't feel like you're missing out on anything. It actually tastes really good, but it has to be kept in the refrigerator. So keep that in mind. Consistency is key when you're tracking macros. If you track Monday through Friday and you don't want to track on Saturdays and Sundays, then you're not following the program. It's every day. Every day. And the people that you see that lost 50 pounds, 60 pounds, 20 pounds, 30 pounds, 15 pounds, 10 pounds, they're consistent. You start to see it work and you will stay consistent. We're not going to talk about this too much, but if you have to go on vacation, basically you're still on the program, but I can change your macros to be like maintenance macros so you don't feel like you're missing out on your vacation. but you're not on a diet. So you really should not be missing out on anything, really. Your program or your lifestyle change is a new journey for you. I want you guys to embrace it. I want you to enjoy it. I don't want you guys stressing out. There's no reason to stress out unless you are so used to eating like 10 pancakes a day and then pizza, and obviously you're gonna have to make changes. I don't want you to change your lifestyle because you're not gonna keep it if you do. I want this to be something that you could take with you forever and ever and ever. That's not to say you don't want to stay in the app, because I have people in the app that have hit maintenance and they just stay in the app for maintenance, and I have a maintenance plan for that. But accountability is number one. We have a meeting every single Wednesday at 7 p.m. If you cannot attend, it's always recorded. It's either in the app or it's on my YouTube, and you have 2 options to watch it. I really, really, really impress upon everybody to watch it. The more engaged you are, the more consistent you are, the more successful you will be tracking macros. We have like a minute and a half, maybe 3 or 4 minutes. Does anybody have questions that I didn't cover? Because I talk a lot. You are more than welcome to speak up if you want to raise your hand or just talk. I can't believe that there's 14 people on here, 13 people on here that do not have questions. So every Wednesday night, the meeting is a different topic. The first couple of weeks, I do like a review. Don't forget to do this. Don't forget you want to make sure you do this. Don't forget you want to make sure you do this. And then we go into our topic. A lot of topics are repetitive because it's new challenges. So I'll talk about self-sabotage and emotional eating and stress eating. And there's just so many topics, and they're already in YouTube. But when I talk, I don't have a script. I just talk. So there'll always be a different topic, and it'll always be different than what you've already heard. And hearing things over again is reinforcement. It's not repetitive. It will help you. It will help you stay focused. It'll help you stay motivated. And it will help you be successful. So if nobody has any questions, I'm going to let you guys go. Start thinking about what you're going to add into your day tomorrow. You can build the night before. When you're ready tomorrow for me to look it over, let me know. I am going to put the post in. You guys are not going to be put into the main group of people until Sunday. So you're not going to feel overwhelmed. For this whole week, you could do it without anybody bothering you, or without anybody messaging, or without anybody posting or anything. But you see the other groups of things that are going on. Look at that sample menu group. It is a great way to hit your numbers. If you can just pull out things and add things in, it will really help you. And then as we go through the week, start writing your questions down or message me, because Saturday we're going to do the Q&A, and I will answer all your questions. I already have a list of questions that I was given that I'm going to use on Saturday. So I think that's pretty much it. Please make the time to watch the Zooms. Please make the time to read everything that I've sent you personally. Skim through the groups. You have plenty of time to do that. You have till September 3rd. And if you stay on even longer. I'm super excited to be on this journey with every single one of you. I love doing this. This is my passion. When I tell people my cost of my program, they're like, what? That's it? And it's because I love it. I'm not doing it, to become a millionaire. I'm doing it because I want to help people become healthy and be happy in their own skin. So because I've been there and I get it. So I hope you guys all have an amazing night. Thank you so much for coming on and spending the last 33 minutes with me. This will be recorded. It will be in both places that I mentioned. I hope you guys all have an amazing night. Remember, always be badass. And I'll see you guys tomorrow night. Thanks, guys. Bye.